Hey Siri, what does incompetent mean?
As an adjective, it means not having or showing the necessary skills to do something successfully.
What's up, Bulls fans? What's up, real MVPs? I know I mixed it up this time, but welcome in to another Ricky's Bulls reaction. And I know what you guys are first thinking. Ricky, I'm disappointed in you. You did not give me a Bulls reaction after the Pistons game. What was going on? Simple, my fault explanation for that was game was on Friday. I played too much WoW on Friday instead of watching the game. Then on Saturday, I'm like, I'm going to be able to watch it Saturday and then do the review on Saturday. Well, we were in the studio recording a Fast Break, a PTP, a Superfans, and I totally did not think it would take as long as it did, and I probably should have thought it was going to take as long as it did, as we were in the studio for 6 hours, so bad judgment on me for timing, and then I'm like, I'm getting it out, but it's going to be way too late. Might as well just watch the Pacer game, and boy, am I glad, sarcasm, that I watched that game, because it was a thrilling game. Before I get into everything in this depressing video, because it seems this is just, you know what these are? This is just going to be Diary of a Depressed Bulls Fan. That's what I should call these. It shouldn't be Ricky's Bulls reaction. It should be a Diary of a Depressed Bulls Fan, because I am slipping deeper and deeper into a Bulls depression. But we'll get into everything. Before I do, check out patreon.com/MolesVal Podcast. That is where you go and help support MVP so I can keep doing this, and maybe it becomes a full-time job, and then I can focus on it solely. And then I won't get these, I missed it, because I had other things to do. So check that out down below in the description. But let's get into this. I've got two games to kind of unpack. I wanted to do one thing about the Bulls. Pistons game first. My only thought with that one still is that I don't think we deserve to win that game. I truly don't. Because of two reasons. One, we left every three open, and the Pistons just couldn't hit them. The first 12 or 13 three-point attempts, the Pistons were like, nah, we're not going to make a three-pointer. But we left them wide open for them. Maybe it was because they weren't hitting them. Maybe it's because our defense is bad. I'd take the latter over the former. Then number two, Derrick Rose had two plays at the end of the game. First off, tip of the respect to Derrick Rose for everything he did for this city. But he made two bad plays at the end of that game that really gave the win to the Bulls. One was a foul where he thought he had a foul to give, but he didn't. You saw him right after go, my bad. And then he also did the my bad after he's on a break. He's got Luke Kennard to his left, but instead he passes it off to, I think it was Tony Snell. And Snell bricked the three where he should have passed it the other way. He gave it to Luke Kennard, and that would have flipped the game, put the game on more of a interesting tilt, and then the Pistons might have won that one. So really looking at that one, we shouldn't have won that one, but hey, you escape with a win. You'll take a win if you can get it. But the Pacer game, this is the meat and potatoes. This is what the video is about, and this is probably the hardest. Well, you know what? It's a toss-up. It's really which is the hardest loss to swallow so far this year, because part of me wants to say, I'm going to say the Knick loss was the hardest to swallow, because we were leading by so much and they roared back and we should have won that game. But this falls into the same category. This was a game where we should have won this game. Victor Oladipo, not playing. Miles Turner, not playing. Okay, good. We knew that those two weren't going to be playing in this game. Wait, you're telling me Domantas Sabonis is not going to play in this game? My eyes lit up like Christmas when I heard that. And then I watched the game and I was like, well, we really pooped that game away. And I kind of feel like what I was thinking during the game, because during the game I think about, okay, what am I going to talk about in Ricky's Bulls reaction? Because here's the thing. I don't want to harp on the same things. I don't want this video to be the same thing that was said in the one before it. And Kendall Gill, I can't remember if it was halftime. I want to say it was after the game. He made me laugh because he was he said what I was thinking. He's like, well, I hate to sound like a broken record, but really it is. The defense is bad. The offense lacks movement. Like, the rotations are terrible. Like, these 3-guard lineups are not working. So, I mean, to me, same thing. So, with me, I'm going to try to give you a different side of things because I don't want to harp on the same thing over and over and over. And the thing I want to focus on is our good old friend, punch the time card, Mr. Punch that time card, show up for work on time, Jim Boylen. Because as I was looking on Bulls Twitter, Casey Johnson had some tweets, as he does always, after the game about what players are saying. He had a couple comments about Thad Young, talking about the defense, how, hey, it's on me as well. Sato had some comments after the game saying how they're playing is really bad. Zach even was talking about how this loss is kind of hard to swallow, where it's a game they should have won. Like, when you got guys out, we didn't take the opportunity. We didn't finish on that opportunity. But then there's two tweets I want to read to you from Casey Johnson about Jim Boylen. And I save the heavy hitting one for last, but I want to get to the first one first. And it reads, Boylen, I think the players need to take more responsibility for their preparedness. I think they need to take more ownership of their readiness to play. The head coaches in this league have never been expected to coach effort. Effort has to come from each guy. And I saw this, and the first thing I thought was, I kind of understand where he's coming from. Or I understand the message that he's trying to convey, because the one part he said that I agree with is that the head coaches in this league cannot coach effort. It's true. You can't, no matter who it is. Teacher, student, head coach, player, little league coach, player. You can't coach effort. You can't make somebody want something. It's a lesson in life. You can't make somebody want something they need to want. It's the old adage or the old adverb of you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So it's like, I understand that part. Okay. But then I'm like, okay, you're already bringing your player's effort into question. And it kind of made me think, are these losses because the team isn't showing effort out there? Is it because they're not prepared? Because the second one, the not being prepared, I think the head coach can work on that one. I mean, whose job is it to make sure that the players are prepared? It's kind of like a teacher. You have the state test. I know America, we teach the test. That's a kind of topic for another day. You have a big assessment coming up. Oh, it's up to the students to make sure they're prepared for that. No. Yes, the students need to, it's a give and take. It's 50-50. Yes, students need to study for the test. They need to work hard, but it's also the teacher's responsibility to make sure that the student has every opportunity to be prepared for that test. Same thing with a coach. It takes every opportunity for the head coach to make sure his team is prepared. That's the job of a coach. Oh, let me put you in the right situation, set you up with the right offensive system, let you know the right scouting reports for this team, that team. What are we going to do here to make sure the players are prepared? To make sure they're prepared. So if you're saying your team is not prepared, then you're saying that you're not doing your job. That's what I see in that, because the thing that I look at is, if you're telling me, and I know this is a part of me also throwing this out there so I don't forget about it. This was also like, man, Jim Boylen trying to throw the players under the bus. Trying to throw them under the bus in my mind. And the thing I can't help but think about is you look at Zach LaVine. I know the offseason workout videos we all hype over and we salivate over because we don't have basketball in the offseason. Now we do, so we forget about those. I saw videos over the offseason of Zach working on different things with his dad. I saw different videos of Lauri Markkanen working on his body. That would be preparing for the season, wouldn't it, Jimbo? That would be preparing. That would be the preparedness that you were talking about. So with me, I kind of think at this point, if the team isn't prepared game in and game out, that's a reflection on you and not a reflection on the players. That's just how I'm seeing it. So really the first comment, it's like, well, if the players aren't prepared, maybe you should take a look in the mirror as well. Also with that second thing, when it comes to effort, you gotta try. That's all it is. Like, effort is, hey, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to give it my all. How does playing 3-guard lineups that has not worked for 7 games and not trying anything different, is that also showing good effort? Is that also being prepared? No. That's being stubborn. We don't want to be stubborn. And that's where my frustration comes from is this tweet. I know it's not Casey Johnson's fault. It's Boylan's fault because he said it. This did not need to be said. I mean, I look like watching the players in the second half of that game, mainly the fourth quarter. Yes, they looked like I want to say they looked like they didn't care, but it wasn't like they looked like they didn't care like in general. It looked like, wow, losing sucks. Losing takes a toll on a team. Losing is not a good feeling. And that's what it felt to me. And this kind of leads me into one of the thoughts that I had during the game. And I know they touched upon it in Bulls halftime, was they showed a play where you had 3 Bulls just standing there on the outside of the 3-point arc. And there was no movement at all. I know guys like Mike 2K in our comment section has talked about this. We all know the ball movement sucks right now. And I can't help but think to myself, is it the players' fault? Is it their fault? And like, I know what some people are going to say, well, yeah, run around. But are they instructed to do so? Is that what they're instructed to do? Or I'm starting to think, of course I'm not there at practice. I don't know what goes on in Jim Boylan's head. I don't know what he and his offense in his mind looks like. But from what I see with my own eyes, is it's kind of like there's no offense at all. It's almost like the Waterboy skit of like, no. We're not going to run a pick and roll. We're going to think about pick and rolling. No, we're going to think about thinking about pick and rolling. And that's how we're going to win the game. It's just watching this Pacer game, I was like, it just looks like Jim Boylan's like, all right, just go out there and play. And then I'll try to coach you from there, which is not going to work. Like, I wonder if the offensive system is the problem, which many of you will probably agree with me. Yes, Ricky, it's the offensive system. And that to me is like, well, if it ain't working after 7 games, something needs to change. Boylan, I'm not seeing any effort on your part either. So if we're going to throw the blame game at the players, be ready to back up your own as well. And then a second tweet from Casey Johnson, yet again, comments from Jim Boylan. They read, Bulls have been out-rebounded in every game but opener. Boylan, rebounding has some want to it. You gotta want to be physical. I think we're a team that has to win the 50-50 tip. Scrum rebounds because we're not getting the clean ones right now. This again, I read this comment and I thought, I'm like, okay, without inadvertently saying it, Jim Boylan is calling his team weak. That's what I see as this. Like, when you're going to talk about rebounding, the word toughness comes into that. You got to be tough. You got to want that rebound because rebounding is the one part of basketball that requires physicality. It requires being tough. It requires going mano-a-mano with somebody else. I'm going to bang bodies with you to try to get that rebound without getting called for a foul. But I look at this and I'm like, this is inadvertently Jim Boylen calling the Bulls weak. That's how I see it. He's questioning their toughness. That, like, how he goes out to mention the scrum rebounds. The rebounds where it's like, hey, you got to get in the nitty gritty, pull up your sleeves, and go ahead and get in on that rebound. Like, and I kind of thought about that during the game. I'm like, you know what? Are the Bulls weak? Like, I had that thought in my head. Are the Bulls weak? Like, are we not a tough team? Because, like, I'm looking at the rebounding. I'm looking at we're not driving to the basket like we should. I know Otto. The one thing I want to say is Otto had some drives into the lane against this Pacer team. They were nice. His shot just wasn't falling for. Like, he made one floater to start the game, and then it's like the Monstars came and took away his shot because he wasn't hitting anything after that. Even the drives and layups from there. But, like, this is the question, like, I want to throw out to you guys is, from you guys watching the Bulls, are you questioning their toughness? And if you are questioning their toughness, is it something to where it's like, is it on the players? Is it on losing? Because I'll be honest, I'm going to say it, losing takes a toll on this team. The more games this Bulls team loses, I think that this continues because it's just a bad feeling. And then we get closer to what some said might happen at the beginning of the year of this team is going to be in crucial trouble. Players only meeting. Let's go ahead and fire Jim Boylen. And I obviously don't want the Bulls to lead down that route. Like, the firing Jim Boylen, I don't care about. I think Jim Boylen has shown in these 7 games that he's a terrible head coach, that I should have had no faith in him coming into this year. Now, that can change if he, like, the thing with Jim Boylen is, it's not what's up here that's bad about Jim Boylen. It's just how stubborn he is. And it's coming from a stubborn person myself. Like, I am as stubborn people come. You gotta sometimes let it go. Like, these 3-guard lineups, everybody on Bulls Twitter harping about the 3-guard lineups. The reason why we're harping about them is because we've seen no change. We've seen no thought to change. And I know I threw out on Superfans that maybe it's because Denzel is not playing well. Maybe it's because Hutch has been injured, and Hutch, when he gets reasserted, we won't see the 3-guard lineup. Maybe it's our lack of having a 3 out there. But I look at this and I go, it's got to stop because it ain't working. It ain't working. Teams are figuring it out, and we got to figure out how it is. We got to do it. But that's going to do it for this Bulls video. I'm going to try to keep it a little short. The last one went 30 minutes, which was really long. But yeah, my big points on this one is just Jim Boylen needs to take some accountability for himself, not throw it on the players, which I think he was doing with those first comments. Bulls also need to come out aggressive to start games. They need to start like they did. It's weird because the Bulls either start out aggressive and then lose it in the fourth, or they just don't start out aggressive at all. They obviously got to do that. And something needs to change offensively, because I watch these games, and after 7 of them, I can't figure. If you gave me a test and was like, what's the Bulls' offensive system? I would say, pick up basketball. Pick up basketball. Sometimes let Wendell roll to the rim because it seems like Wendell sets up that play, not Jim Boylen, ? Like, that's how I see it. I don't know if the Bulls have an offensive system by watching these 7 games, and that's bad. I should know with my eyes that the Bulls have an offensive system. And then the last thing, and this is the most important question I want to ask you. Are the Bulls weak? Are they weak? Should we be questioning their toughness? Is it going to be a problem moving forward? And is it a Boylen problem? Is it a player problem? What do you think is the problem with the state of the Chicago Bulls? The next game we got coming up, I'll be completely honest, I don't want to watch it. Like, and that's bad. Like, I want to watch it to support the Bulls. I don't want to watch it because I know the outcome. Anthony Davis and LeBron James are coming to town, even if Anthony Davis is not playing in this one, which I'm going to assume he does. We're going to get demolished in this one. It ain't even going to be close. I'll be shocked if we beat the Los Angeles Lakers, but hey, I've seen crazier things. So that one, tomorrow, I'll be watching it. I'll be reacting to it, but let me know what you guys think to anything I talked about in this video. If you guys have any Bulls questions for me or Bulls thoughts, go ahead, hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Make sure to check out our Superfan podcast this week. We talked about Dave, Sean, and I. Will Jim Boylan get fired this year? So it was kind of a larger conversation about the Bulls that you guys will enjoy. And as always, have a good day, everybody.